if the smallest kid on the ramp ended up calling the shots? Meet the Embraer E2, the profit hunter family that's quietly rewriting the rules of short and mid-haul flying. While the giants battle over megatwins and stretched single aisles, this little jet is sneaking into their lunch line with sharper economics, whisper-quiet operations, and cabins passengers actually ask for. Before we dive in, what's your favorite regional jet? The CRJ? The E-Jet? Or maybe the A220? Drop it in the comments, I'll pin the most popular one. Start with the cabin, because that's where loyalty is won. A 2-to-2 layout, 0 middle seats, big windows, and overhead bin sized so everyone gets a carry-on aboard. No contortions, no seat lottery anxiety, just quick boarding and happier travelers. Airlines love it because a seat map without middle seats means fewer complaints and faster turns. Be honest. Would you choose a flight just because it has no middle seat? Under the skin, the E2 is far from a warmed-over regional jet. Think new high-aspect ratio wing, 4th generation full fly-by-wire, and Pratt & Whitney's PW1900G geared turbofans. That gearbox for the fan lets the front fan spin slowly while the core works faster, translating into serious fuel and noise gains. Embraer and P&W pitch up to 25% lower fuel burn per seat versus previous gen, plus a huge noise footprint cut. Certification margins against ICAO Chapter 14 are eye-popping, and Embraer advertises up to a 68% smaller noise footprint than first-gen E-jets. If you're enjoying this breakdown so far, give the video a quick like, it really helps push aviation content to more ages like you. Range and right sizing are where the E2 starts punching above its weight. The E195-E2 tops out around 2,600 nautical miles, perfect for coast-to-coast Canada or deep transcontinental Europe, while the slightly smaller E190-E2 stretches closer to 2,850 to 2,950 nanometers with a full cabin, opening thinner long-stage routes without the cost of an A320neo or 737 of 8. That's the magic. Fill 120 to 136 seats profitably where a 180-seater bleeds yield, and you've just created a route the giants can't fly as efficiently. Airlines are proving it at scale. Porter has turned the E195-E2 into a Canadian disruptor, dozens already flying with a firm order book of 75 and more options. Azul keeps doubling down in Brazil as deliveries ramp, KLM City Hopper continues adding frames, Lexer, Airlink, and even state-owned Mexicana have inked deals. Each operator uses the jet differently, high-frequency business routes, leisure transcons, or secondary city connectors, but the common thread is economics that work when too big to fill would kill the route. There's smart automation coming too. Embraer is rolling out an enhanced takeoff system designed to standardize performance on short or hot and high runways, reducing pilot workload and squeezing more payload out of constrained airports. More payload plus consistent performance equals better schedules and fewer weight-restricted headaches. Critics will debate the nuance, but airlines obsess over repeatability, and repeatability is money. If this all sounds like a love letter, here's the catch, and it's a big one. The E175-E2, the US scope clause sweet spot, is effectively paused until at least 2029. Why does that matter? Because US regional contracts cap weight and seat counts. The current E175, first gen, thrives under those rules. The E175-E2 breaks them. Until labor deals change, the smallest E2 can't unlock America's biggest regional market, and Embraer has pushed the program rightward on the timeline. So why does the E2 still threaten giants? 3 reasons: flexibility, frequency, and fit. Flexibility. A family spanning roughly 100 to 146 seats lets planners match demand precisely. Frequency. High cycles with low noise and great fuel burn means you can add flights where competitors add bigger planes. Fit. A comfortable, quiet 2-to-2 cabin turns casual flyers into loyalists. Airlines quietly track NPS and repeat purchase behavior, and the E2's cabin helps tilt those metrics. Combine that with airport access, runways and gates that balk at bigger jets, and the E2 slips into markets where larger narrowbodies can't make the numbers sing. There's competition, of course. Airbus's A220 is a star, and on some missions it overlaps the E2. But the E2 carries a lower empty weight per seat in many configs, and for airlines already standardized on Embraer, commonality and right-sizing trump the allure of going bigger. The result is a knife fight in the 110-140 seat space, precisely where airline spreadsheets are most sensitive to fuel, maintenance, and crew costs. That's why each fresh order, Luxor adding more, Porter accelerating, Azul scaling up, matters way beyond the headline number. Hey there ages, here's the showdown, E2 versus A220, who wins in the long run? Let's settle it in the comments. Embraer has posted record backlogs and expects dozens of E-Jet deliveries this year, with the in-service E2 fleet crossing into the hundreds. Not every month goes to plan. Supply chains are still, well, supply chains, but the trajectory is clear: more frames, more geographies, more routes only the little jet can serve profitably. Every additional airport that relaxes about noise, and every community that welcomes new service widens the E2's runway. Here's the part most people miss: the E2 isn't trying to replace big narrow-bodied. It's trying to make them unnecessary on thousands of daily legs. If you can fly a 120 or 136-seat jet with almost no noise footprint, burn less, and keep load factors high, you de-risk your network, especially when demand wobbles. That resilience is gold in airline planning. It's why the little jet is such a big headache for the giants. It shrinks the territory where bloated capacity used to be the only option. If you've flown one, you already know. That's not marketing, it's design, and it's the reason these airplanes keep sliding into city pairs that were either underserved or unserved. The E2 doesn't roar onto the scene, it tiptoes in, adds a second daily, then a third. Suddenly the route is a franchise. Suddenly, the giant's advantage is gone. If you love deep dive aviation stories packed with data over drama, you're in the right place. Tap subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next Profit Hunter update. And for the ages and industry pros, drop your hardest E2 versus A220 question. I'll answer the best in our next video and pin the top comment. One last thought: sometimes, revolutions don't arrive with fanfare. They arrive on time, under budget, and so quiet you barely notice, until every schedule you search has E195-E2 or E190-E2 beside the best timed flights. That's the little jet's big threat, and that's why the giants are watching.